We were told he had bronchitis on the
respiratory issues.
Battling a respiratory infection right now.
With Pope Francis in hospital in a critical condition.
In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will nourish the sheep in many tribulations. And when these things are finished, the city of the 7 hills will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people.
Is this a sign of the end times? What does this mean? The prophecy suggests great turmoil for the Roman Catholic Church, the destruction of Rome, and the great judgment of humanity. The author of this passage is Malachy. He is a saint and archbishop in Ireland during the 12th century. He is best known and considered one of the greatest saints and influential people in the reforms in the Irish church. What makes this prophecy so interesting is that he predicted the end times be after the 112th Pope. Well, guess what? The 112th Pope is Pope Francis. This might seem far-fetched at first, but some of the characteristics Pope Francis has done might make this prophecy come true. Let's talk about the conditions necessary for this prophecy to become reality. As you may know, Pope Francis's health has not been doing great. Some have suggested that he relieve his position, or some have already prepared his funeral. Whatever the case, this would fulfill with the condition necessary for this prophecy to occur, that after the death of the 112th Pope, the city on the 7 hills, aka Rome, will be destroyed, and the great judge will judge the living and the dead. This might be familiar is because Jesus in Revelations will come down with a flaming sword out of his mouth and judge those who are the living and the dead in one great judgment. This, however, can only occur if Pope Francis's name becomes Peter the Roman. The first thing that may catch your eye is that Pope Francis's name is not Peter. That is technically true. However, according to academic and religious scholars, Francis is the Pope, making him a direct successor of Peter. Peter being one of the most influential members of the church due to being an apostle of Jesus Christ and the founder of the Roman Catholic Church. Due to Peter's name being more symbolic and the Pope being the head of the church, the Pope technically carries Peter's name. And if this is true, this would fulfill the conditions necessary for the prophecy. Is Pope Francis the 112th Pope? Well, technically, Pope Francis is the 266th Pope that has been elected since the beginning of the Roman Catholic Church. But since Malachy's prophecy, Pope Francis would be the 112th Pope. This would fulfill the conditions necessary to make the prophecy of the popes come true. In the third part of the prophecy, the Roman Catholic Church will face great tribulations that will shock it to its core. It is no secret that the Roman Catholic Church has done some very suspicious and unorthodox things. You've all heard of those unsavory rumors about the Roman Catholic Church. However, it wasn't until recently that those unsavory rumors have surfaced. And to start it off, well, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, the PDF files. More specifically, Pope Francis's controversy on how he's handled these PDF files. Well, let's take a look. The Vatican recent reports on the former Cardinal Theodore McCarrick has shed light on the systematic failure within the Church to address his misconduct dating back to the 1990s. The report reveals that numerous bishops, cardinals, and even popes overlooked or downplayed this extensive evidence of McCarrick's abusive behavior. But most notably, it places much of the blame on St. John Paul II, citing his decision to appoint McCarrick as the Archbishop of Washington in 2000, and later make him cardinal, despite an inquiry that uncovered allegations that he had slept with seminarians. However, the report largely exonerates Pope Francis, who has faced little direct criticism, and instead it highlights his Francis' actions in 2018 when he's authorized a more thorough investigation into McCarrick's rise through the church's ranks. The investigation was prompted by the revelations that McCarrick's abusive behavior, including having seminarians sleep in his bed during weekend retreats, was an open secret within the US and Vatican hierarchies. In the wake of the investigation, McCarrick, now 90, was defrocked last year after it was confirmed that he, SA, both adults and minors, but the reports raises troubling questions about the role of Pope John Paul II and his trusted secretary Cardinal Stanwitz Diswitz. Diswitz, who is already faced growing criticism in Poland for allegedly covering up other cases of clergy SA, now finds himself under further scrutiny. This report underscores the Church's ongoing reckoning with its handling of the clergy's SA and calls into question how deeply the Vatican's highest levels were aware of and complicit in McCarrick's rise to power. It doesn't end there for the Great Tribulations for the Roman Catholic Church, since Pope Francis allowed paganistic symbols and worship inside the church. Let's take a look. The most striking moment came when the statue known as Pachamama, a figure representing the earth goddess of the indigenous cultures, was placed in the Vatican during the ceremony. This incident sparked outrage among the conservative Catholics who saw it as a violation of the Catholic teaching. While the Vatican later explained that the image represents cultural respect rather than worship, the controversy persisted. Adding to the tension was moments during the public appearances when Pope Francis was seen wearing robes adorned with symbols linked to indigenous beliefs, including necklaces and some as interpreted as pagan in nature. His attire, according to criticism, seemed to blur the lines between Catholicism and paganism, causing concern for those who felt the Pope was disregarding the Church's traditional stances on such symbols. Moreover, some observers pointed to moments when the popes made hand gestures during public events, with accusations that these gestures resembled those associated with devil worship, with no official explanation from the Vatican has tied these gestures to any malevolent intent. The images has raised questions about the Pope's public persona and his influence on the Catholic doctrine. Pope Francis has defended his approach, stating that he is working towards interfaith dialogue and emphasizing the importance of understanding and embracing diverse cultures. However, these incidents have continued to fuel controversy, with many questioning how far the Church could go in incorporating non-Christian symbols and practices into its teachings. From pagan symbols to demonic hand gestures, some speculation regarding these symbols seem far out there. However, we are talking about one of the largest churches in the world. Everything they do has meaning and is closely watched by thousands of people. I want you to decide what you think on this matter. Is Pope Francis the 112th Pope that will bring Judgment Day? Well, I can't say for certain. However, he does fulfill the requirements needed for St. Malachy's prophecy, and that should not be overlooked. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I want to hear from you. And if you want more videos like these, like and subscribe.